Hey everybody, Crystal Gamer here with a new how-to video. This one is by request from someone and it's on how to build modern homes. Okay, so I think that the first thing that we have to do in looking at any kind of architecture, you run into do modern architecture. Well, what makes modern architecture modern, right? So I think probably the most distinct thing about modernism is that there's no ornamentation, no moldings, no crown molding, no fancy railings, nothing that you would ever see on a Victorian. It's like the antithesis of a Victorian. So very kind of minimalist, very plain. Shape-wise, it's usually very geometric, right? A lot of boxes, cubes, rectangles, very, very kind of boxy. Some cylinders, we can't really, in The Sims, do cylindrical the way modern would have cylindrical very well because we have these diagonals and things like that in the game. So really for our game, you're going to stick more to cubic and rectangular shapes for modern builds. And most everything you're going to have at a 90-degree angle. So you're not going to have funny angles or anything like that. Everything's pretty much going to be 90-degree angle, really strong emphasis on horizontal and vertical lines, lots of blocky shapes. Your columns, if you use columns, you want thicker rather than thinner columns. Asymmetry is common. It's not necessary. You don't have to have asymmetry, but asymmetry is common in modern compositions. Concrete is probably the most common used material in modern builds. It's concrete, steel, metal, glass. Glass is used a lot. Large windows are used a lot. Large windows that, again, more geometric. Think larger, blocky, a lot of squares and stuff like that. You can have some designs, but just think larger and more geometric. Colors. For colors, you'll have a lot of whites and creams. You might have, on materials too, I should mention, you might have some brick, you might have some stone sometimes, but you're not going to have excess. Generally speaking, you're not going to have excess, but you might have that for materials. For colors, yeah, lots of creams and whites. I tend to veer a little bit from this because I'm a huge fan of contrast in a build. So I tend to create a little more contrast. You can break the rules a little bit. Roofing, what's common? Everyone does flat roofs, right? With modern builds. The other types of roofs that you might see in modern architecture are skillions and lean-tos. Skillions and lean-tos are the same roof type. It's just a different name depending on where you live. They're essentially shed roof types where like one side is down and one is up. And then the other type of roof that you might see on a modern home is a hipped pitch roof. Typically, if you're going to see a pitched roof, it's usually going to be a hipped roof and it's going to be a low pitch. It's not going to be a big high pitch. You're not going to see some high pitched gable or something like that. So low pitched hipped roof. So now that we've covered all the characteristics, let's try to take what we've learned and apply it. Okay, so we said that we're looking for a lot of cubic and rectangular type shapes. So let's start with that. Let's make a little rectangle. Here's a rectangle, and we said we want some asymmetry, right? Oftentimes we want some asymmetry, so let's give her some asymmetry. Let's make a little rectangle going that way. And say, all right, well, obviously, if we have this rectangle going this way, this is going to kind of fall over. So we can do one of those thick columns we were talking about, and we have a choice of using columns inside the game. We have quite a few different columns inside the game, like these chunky columns. The chunky columns would definitely be considered modern. Anything like these would be considered modern, but I'm going to go with an even more chunky column. I'm going to use the actual game things and make a 1 square room and use that as a chunky column. There we go. We have some chunky columns there. And I think I'm going to do a couple more here. And I think that I'm going to create a little inset window thing here. Oh, it got rid of my little squares. I didn't want it to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create some inset windows. And this is a nice little nifty trick for you too. If you're looking at how to do modern builds, this is something that you see in modern builds as well. I didn't really talk about this in the beginning, but these type of inset windows that I'm going to do here is another thing that can be common in a modern build. And let's choose some windows for this. I want to make sure that I'm going to put us at the second height level for both. And let's see, there are many windows. When we get into these bigger windows, these top 2 tiers of windows, you've got a large selection of windows that you can use for modern builds. Any of this stuff that's got the squares like this here, this one, anything that's not rounded, anything that's not, like this is too adorned. So anything that's kind of square looking, I think I'm going to go with this. This is a very good modern look. We're going to have those going across. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to do another inset section over here, I think. So boom, we're going to have another inset over here. There we go. And this makes me feel like, this section here makes me feel like I want another column underneath. So I'm going to throw one there too, because why not? Gives it a little bit more, makes it a little bit more dynamic there. And let's throw our entry underneath here too. And really all I'm doing is I'm making rectangles, right? I'm making rectangles is really all I am doing. I'm going to make another huge column here is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do entry stairs going around that or in that. Let's go out one more. And so what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do stairs. So I'm going to show you foundation. So foundation, I'll make a little height, not lifting it up too high, but foundation on one of these on a modern home is generally going to be pretty plain. So you might have something like the basic foundation that we have. You could maybe use something like this, but I would almost say that that is too much adornment. I would be most likely to go with something like this here. The plainest of the plain foundations is probably the most modern looking foundation that we have. Can veer from that a little bit, but it is probably the most modern. Oh, and now I brought this out and that ended up being too far back. Now, you know what? I need to bring it back again. I forgot what I was doing there. I could correct it the way I want, but it's going to take too much time and I don't want to spend all that time while I'm on video with you guys. Okay, so I don't want to bore you guys to tears, but I'm putting my entryway there. And let's find some railings for this. This is another thing. We talked about materials. So we said that we want unadorned things. We want metals are good. Metals are definitely good. So this is an iron railing, but we can't use it because look at all the adornment. It's all swirly and everything. It's definitely not modern. This, on the other hand, is definitely very modern. This I would consider modern as well. Something with a lot of horizontals is good. You can use vertical lines, but definitely not something like this with little round things and little fancy elements. And you don't want anything like that. Definitely something more sleek. Think sleek, think minimalism. I think for this, I don't know. I think I'm feeling glass. Feeling some glass. Let's put some glass in. And I think I want another chunky monkey column over here. And I'm going to move this in. I feel like this deck space should be moved in. Not the column, just the deck space. Ugh. My apologies for all the messing up here. There we go. That was a lot to get to what I was looking for. But okay, let's pick a door here. This is that's a good looking modern door. Very nice. All right, let's get some stairs. I'm going to try and move it on a little faster because I feel like I'm going to go too slow and lose you guys here. Actually, I'm going to inset the stairs a little bit. I think that will look a little bit more, the line will look cleaner. And so that's a decision because we're doing a modern architecture thing too. Cleaner lines are always good with modern architecture. Oh, it's not going to allow it because it's too wide. There we go. That's pretty cute looking. Let's see if I can take that column back. Yeah, I'm not going to do that on camera, but that column's going to go back because I want this flush. So that whole section's going to go back. All right. So, and let's say we want a deck back here. I'm going to take this back a little bit, but let's say I want a deck back here. Add some roof space. Keeping it along with the boxy square sort of lines of a modern build. There we go. I think I need to be over one more. And again, I'm just going to copy this column up here and here. And now I'm going to grab my fencing that I used. Throw this here. Throw that there. And you know what? Maybe we want, I don't know, maybe we want a section down here, but well, I might add to it later, but I just want to give you guys a feel now. I'm getting too involved. I get too involved when I build. So let's see, what do we want for textures? Unbent smoothness is a very good texture for modern builds. It's got a very modern look and feel. So that's one that you can definitely use. Look at that. It's got a really good look for modern. It's not 100% plain concrete. It's got a little something to it, which makes it kind of nice. I mentioned that you can use some natural textures as far as brick and stone. So how about if I want to use brick on my columns and just leave the brick just to the columns and that's it. That can create a nice look. But there we go. That gives a pretty good look. I'm just kind of doing a rough draft in right now for you guys, just to give you guys a feel for what we're looking at. So that's nice. That's a nice modern look. And so let's stick a roof on this and we'll give it an even more modern look by having a nice little flat roof. So there we go with that. And then we want to take it down. Take the lowest height roof type, boom, 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 get it all the way across. We can get rid of this because we don't need this. And there we go. We have that. I'm going to carry that texture across up at the top. Now, if I have columns like this, I'm going to also carry the column texture to the top and make it appear, at least visually appear like these columns are going all the way to the top, even if they're not. So there we have that. I'm going to get rid of the roof thing at the top there. And now we need some kind of textures for the front, the deck, all of that stuff. So what kind of texture do we use? Well, we said concrete is really common. So we could use this Glamour Tough Stained Concrete is a very good one for modern builds. So I'm going to throw that in. Down there, that's what that looks like. Not bad, not bad. Throw that in the back. And there we have that. We said there were going to be lots of whites and creams. So that doesn't look too bad. For the roof, I'm going to go with the not so drab slab. Probably just go with the white there. There we go. Oh, and we need to color our roof trim. I'm going to go with a white on that as well. And so there we have it. Stick another window down there. Make it look all pretty. And obviously I would refine this, but I wanted to give you guys an idea. So just in, I don't know how long this has taken, but not very long, just in a very short period of time, we hit on a lack of ornament and moldings, which we said that was like the number one characteristic. We have no ornaments and moldings. We hit on our geometric shapes. We have some rectangles and kind of cubic type shapes. We have blocky things, or we have thicker columns. Everything's at 90-degree angles like we talked about. We have an asymmetrical composition. We are using lots of glass like we talked about. We're using lots of concrete, and we have metal in our fences, I think, a little bit. I think the bottom of the glass thing is metal, and I think the window things are metal. So we're using all the materials. And we're using the very large windows. We are using the whites and creams, and we have a flat roof. So we have checked off pretty much every aspect of modernism for this build. So I hope that if you are among the people who have found modern builds difficult in the past, that this video helps to make them easier for you. And if you enjoyed this, please do hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. I'd appreciate it a lot. And I hope to see you back again next time. Bye now.